What did she tell you, that you're never going to make it?
Oh, she was screaming at me. She was shouting, "We don't want you anymore, and you are talentless. We don't want you." And I was like, you know what? I totally understand where you're coming from. Thank you. Bye-bye. You know, nepotism and industry people and outsiders, when that conversation happens, it intimidates people like me. A lot of the things I didn't get that I cried about, they ended up being bad projects. Shraddha and Varun together. It's like going to a new school and you're like the new kid. They didn't make me feel like that at all. They were very humble, very sweet, very accepting.
Hello and welcome to Dabur Amla Aloe Vera What Women Want on Filmy Mirchi. आज हम बात कर रहे हैं about breaking stereotypes और इस पर बात करने मैंने एक ऐसी एक्ट्रेस को बुलाया है who has not just broken stereotypes, she has killed them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome everyone Saki, Nora Fatehi. Hi, Nora.
Hi. Oh, what an intro.
I mean, I know, of course, you have a fan in me too, because I think I've never seen anyone, you know, kind of move like that. I think both Saif and me, whenever we see your songs, we're always like, oh my God, I don't know how this woman just does it.
Thank you. I'm hoping that maybe, you know, soon when Taimur gets older, maybe we can think about an engagement or a marriage. Between me and him.
He's 4 and I think it's a long way to go.
It's okay, I'll wait.
So Nora, let's start from your move to India. You didn't know anyone here, you didn't know the language, your family didn't support your dreams. So what gave you the conviction to just take it on and come here?
You know, I think there comes a point in everybody's life where you start searching for your calling, what you are meant to do. I found myself knowing what my calling is at a very young age. And I always found myself going through the direction of entertainment, performance, the arts, the world of entertainment. I connected with India and the culture and the idea of assimilating to the environment here very easily. So coming to India, despite not knowing anybody, despite not having friends or family here, and even my mom screaming at me on the phone saying, "Are you crazy? You can't travel alone," and all that stuff. You know, I had to combat the simple stereotype of girls cannot travel alone unless they're married.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a very conservative type of mentality.
You have no Indian roots at all?
No, I don't have any Indian roots, but you know
what?
what?
And now you speak fluent Hindi.
So we have very Indian features, you know, we can mix well very, you know. So.
Our cultures are quite similar. But Nora, तुम्हारे कुछ songs पर 500 million से भी ज़्यादा views होते हैं. So what does the Nora who was told that she can never make it feel when you actually see this?
Oh, it's a good question. It's mixed emotions, so many emotions that rush through my head. I feel a lot of happiness. I feel motivation to do more because you see it happening, you see the results happening, so it gives you that drive to keep moving forward. I also feel a sense of excitement because I know that somewhere this will be someone else's inspiration.
Now I want to know what has been your worst experience in this industry and और तुमने उसे कैसे handle किया?
Well, it must be the stereotyping. I think that is very complicated to maneuver because I've had many people who try to get me into a film or a song and convince filmmakers to trust my skill, but it never happened until I spoke up for myself.
Right.
And then once you've convinced them, when you land up on set, you need to convince them with your skill. And I'm sure you know, Kareena, like how many types of stereotypes there are. There isn't just one. There's like a million, you know, so it's how many do you break through? I have to convince a filmmaker that I can act or I can dance or I'm serious about my craft. And there are a lot of filmmakers who are educated enough to understand that let's give this person a chance. If they cannot perform, then it's like, okay, we can judge her on that aspect. And then there are filmmakers that I had to, you know, really fight through in the last 6 years who unfortunately are very stuck up on typecasting and stereotyping. But you know one thing, Kareena, I feel that in this industry there was a lot of typecasting that was happening a long time ago, but we're breaking through that.
Now after you've been established और आपने अपने आप को establish कर लिया एक You have millions of fans now who are going absolutely crazy over you.
Touch wood.
Has there been any change of behavior towards you, or have people who didn't believe in you apologized?
Oh my God, girl. Let me tell you. There are some people in the journey who come along and really bring you down, and they make you feel like you are not capable and that you're nothing. And when you do become something, they like to creep back and say, hey, I always knew you could do it, and sorry about that thing I said, I was tipsy or I was this. No, listen, people always like to backpedal, but you need to be smart enough to filter through those people and know who had your back from day one and who believed in you from day one, and you need to keep those people around you. What I like the most is that with the success came a lot of respect, which I was craving for. The things that were said a few years ago, they're not said anymore.
No, so you've obviously broken barriers and set examples which people would, definitely look up to and follow, I'm sure. But I want to know, if there was one free murder, which hater would you kill and why?
Are we taking names?
Feel free, of course.
There's so many, Kareena. Where do I begin?
Yeah, you have to name one. You have to pick one.
I can't say names, but I can say one thing. There was one casting director that I met in the first few months that I came to India, and she almost made me feel like packing my bags and leaving.
Oh God, what did she tell you? That you're never going to make it?
She said to me that there's too many people like you here, and our industry is sick and tired of people like you, and we don't want you anymore. She was screaming at me. She was shouting, we don't want you anymore, and you are talentless, we don't want you. And I was like, you know what? I totally understand where you're coming from. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I just left, and I cried so much. And I didn't ask for it because that casting director called me. I didn't even know who she was. She called me to her house, and she sat me down just to scream at me. And I was new in the country, so I was like, is this what everyone does here? They just call people to scream at them.
Oh, God.
So maybe what she said to me and how she said it, maybe low-key was like a driving force. You never know.
Yeah, it kind of pushed you.
It kind of pushed me, definitely. But of course, I feel like when you take the stairs up, it is much better than taking the elevator up, because the elevator, the lift could break in out of nowhere, and you can get stuck.
Right.
And you can't get out. At least with the stairs, dhire you go up, and you encounter certain things, and you solve those problems.
Right.
Learning the language is very, very important. I have met a lot of artists, Kareena, who are not from here, who didn't care about the language. But I didn't respect that. I think that if you come to someone's country, you need to assimilate and you need to learn.
That's amazing. Wise words from Nora Fatehi. I must ask you this, that for our Dabur Amla Aloe Vera Want It All moment, tell me about a time where you thought you weren't going to get all of it, and then eventually you kind of, got it all.
I think it happened a couple of times. My run in the last 5 years have been constant auditioning, constant breaking my back to kill an audition for a film or a show or an ad or a song. And every time that rejection happens, where I'm like, no, I'm almost 100% sure I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it. And when the rejection happens, I would break and I would think, that's it, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, it can't happen. Also, when you start hearing that conversation of nepotism and industry people and outsiders, when that conversation happens, and tends to happen a lot, it intimidates people like me, because you keep thinking, you keep getting reminded of something that you're trying to forget. When you're hustling, you don't want to remember all these things. You just want to think about, I'll put the effort, I'll do my part, and hopefully if it's destined for me, it will happen. And also, I think that I was so hungry that no matter how many failures I went through, I always said, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Maybe I didn't get this film, or maybe I didn't get this show because it wasn't good for me. And maybe something better is coming. So I trained myself mentally to think that. And I think every artist needs to believe that, because it's so funny. A lot of the things I didn't get that I cried about, they ended up being bad projects anyway. So, so I end up saying thank you,
It was a
God.
win-win.
Yeah.
But Nora, you've always said that तुम dance के साथ-साथ acting भी करोगी. But often in this industry, dancers get stereotyped and don't really progress, to acting. So what has been your experience in breaking this particular stereotype?
Unfortunately, the typecast of just being able to dance is wrong, and I have been battling this since I've come, and I want to be that, person in the industry who breaks that mentality, because dancers are multifaceted. Dancers can do so many things. I've said this before, dancers can emote without even speaking. They can make you feel feelings just through their movements and their eyes. So dancers should be given opportunities to do more than dance, because they can. And I want to prove that, I want to prove that. And if I just do a little bit of research of the history of Bollywood, most of the biggest icons in Bollywood didn't just do one thing. They didn't just act. They didn't just sing. They didn't just dance. They danced, sang, and acted, or they danced and acted.
Yeah.
So just like actors are given the free will to dance and be performers, I feel vice versa should be allowed and should be entertained.
Absolutely. Now, the next question, you can't be diplomatic, obviously.
Here we go.
And no, it's just, it's curiosity, because I'm sure all your fans want to know, and I want to know. Because obviously we all see your songs and you've worked with so many choreographers. But out of everyone that you've worked with, who is your favorite and who is your most favorite co-star?
Recently, I've just worked with Ganesh Acharya, sir. And that was a lovely experience. And I've always wanted to work with him because he got a different style out of me, so. But having said that, of course, I think what's more important than that is the fact that a lot of these choreographers that I worked with have given me the respect to and creative freedom to also jam with them. So they allow me to work with them and not just show up to the rehearsal hall and just learn and go home. So I love the fact that they've given me that respect.
Absolutely. And what about your favorite co-star?
As of now, I would say...
Trust me, everyone's petrified of doing a song with you. I'm sure all the male actors, but they're all dying to, I'm sure.
Are you serious? But you know what? That's amazing. That made me feel great. Now I'm going to go home and call my friends and tell them what you just said.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm sure. They're probably just scared that they can't dance in front of you.
But then they can sit and watch, like how John does it. John just walks through the song and leaves, so...
Yeah, I'm sure they all want to do that, trust me.
I really enjoyed working with Varun when we were doing Street Dancer, because I felt Varun was very, very cool, very childlike. He didn't make me feel intimidated at all, even being new. And I think even Shraddha and Varun together, because they've done a film together, there's that comfort. It's like going to a new school and you're the new kid. They didn't make me feel like that at all. They were very humble, very sweet, very accepting, very encouraging. And I think that's very important for someone who's new.
When things are stressful, what is your breathe easy solution to cope with all things stressful?
Music really helps me. Music and just watching people dance and, just moving, dancing at home, and that really eases my stress. Also, my nephew, my brother's son, he's 2 years old. So whenever I FaceTime him, I feel certain level of happiness, especially if I have a long day. I think kids can make you grounded again and make you, see the perspective of life. So there's that energy that I love. But I would definitely say music plays a huge role in my life.
That's absolutely true. And now, finally, I've asked you so much, and it's been such an compelling, and I've not known you. We've never met.
We've never met, yeah.
I've got such an insight into the kind of person you are. But you get to ask me a question if you want to.
Babology, empowered by Bumble.
I do, actually. I've always said that if I ever meet you, and unfortunately because of COVID we couldn't meet, but if I ever meet you, I do have one question. What is that first move that one woman must do to be able to balance out killing it in their career and still finding happiness in their personal life, becoming mothers and wives?
I think I'm going to take your cue. I'm a hustler like Nora Fatehi. That's all I can say. Yeah. I think women are hustlers and, the men don't know that.
Yeah,
I think we
definitely.
hustle well and yeah. And I think it's all about, that. It's all about getting your work done, following your dreams. And, I completely believe in everything that you said because I think it resonated a lot with me because I'm a lot like that,
For
as
sure.
a person,
Definitely.
and I wanted to always be independent and, break away from probably my family name and also just try and do what I want to do for myself.
Definitely. I think maybe this is important to say on a side note. What you have done in terms of being still there and relevant and working and celebrated as a artist, and at the same time being able to create your little bubble of a family with your husband and your child is very, very inspirational for people like me who want to be able to do both one day, because moderation and balance is so important, and you've allowed that example. So thank you, kudos for that.
No, thank you. And with your sensibilities, I'm sure that's going to happen. You have a very, very bright future.
Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much.